Describe your life right now?
One of three that pick my life?
1 to 3. So you
to 3.
pick 3 pictures that describe your life right now. Like what season of life you're in right now?
That's a good question. Probably that one because of college.
Okay.
This one because it's about to be summer. And this one because I'm broke as shit.
And this one you chose because like fishing.
Yeah, it's about to be summer, and I'm ready to go fishing.
Yeah. So some of those pictures, what season do you think of life you're in? Kind of think of like winter, summer, spring, fall.
Like spring to summer.
Oh yeah, so transitioning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Every next question is pick 1 to 3 that you wish to describe your life right now. So
3 I wish to describe my life right now, not the season.
Yeah. So like,
okay.
You wish to describe or in the future, something kind of like that you're looking forward to or wishing.
This one because I could use a girlfriend.
Because that is
not use a girlfriend, but like I wouldn't mind one.
Oh yeah.
This one because I kind of don't feel like I'm like at peace right now.
Okay.
And that one because I really want to travel the world.
So, I don't know.
So this one is kind of peaceful.
Yeah.
What's led you to feel not at peace right now?
How are you?
Wait, what?
So you said because you don't feel at peace?
Yeah, not exactly.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what in your life do you think
Perfect. You know this lady?
What's going on in your life that makes you feel you don't have it?
For one, college. 2, I don't know how I'm paying for college. 3, I'm going to be in between jobs. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a job once I get back home. Plus, the job here doesn't pay very well. And I'm also growing my YouTube channel. So,
my name is Hannah.
yeah, and that
Any other questions?
going through a couple struggles, like personal struggles. I'm just stealing a peep. Or 2.
So if you want to pick also next 1 to 3 that you would describe your spiritual journey.
My spiritual journey?
So yeah, you kind of mentioned peace. Yeah, anything that would describe
She's not very good. She gets too aggressive all the time. She'll just throw it. I think we hit it with the swing and everything.
Okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to kill myself. I honestly don't know.
No, that's good. All right. Yeah. Well, I would implore you to come this week. That's good. Get a lot of information, a lot of stuff that I've.
Okay, it's like picking tarot cards.
To be able to articulate.
Yeah, except there's not a right or wrong answer, and I'm not going to tell you the future.
I know what I'm saying is like it's this spiritual. It's like similar to tarot cards.
Yeah, it's not like
Okay, so
If that's kind of what you think spiritual.
I think that one again for the needing to be at peace.
Okay.
Let's see. This one for like seeking adventure.
Okay.
And this one for wanting to start something anew.
So maybe looking at the piece and something new. What do you think will bring something new or peace in your life? What do you think?
No idea. Time. That's the best answer I got on that one. Time.
Anything, do you think in particular happening over time or just time itself?
Just time itself, because I honestly don't know what the heck this is in the near future.
Okay, and then the last one is which one would you describe, 1 to 3, describe God to you?
Describe what? God. Oh, okay.
Your perspective, picture, so...
the funny thing is, I don't know. I'm kind of not all that religious right now.
And yeah, you don't have to be. It's not about what denomination or religion you're part of.
No, I understand. I just like,
but just kind of how do you view that?
So did you guys meet at the beginning of the year?
kind of this because the aspect that God brings people together, but it also causes people to be greedy. like if you think of the church and tithing, most of that money doesn't actually go to what they say it's going to go to.
So you're saying God's nature?
Like, no, not the nature of God, but the nature of people who follow Him, or an aspect. Religion causes people to be greedy.
So that's more of people then?
Yeah, this is more of the people.
How would you view God himself?
That's like, I don't know.
That's okay.
Because there's no easy way to do that.
Yeah, maybe not like to sum up him, but maybe just attribute about God.
Yeah, I really couldn't.
Yeah. Did you love Did you like your church?
Yeah. What's your experience about God, or how you know Him personally?
Well, I went to Catholic school to start with.
Okay.
But then it sucked. A lot of it, especially because they're shoving the religion down your throat. And me personally, I see the fact that the money's not getting used to where they say it's going to get used for. And they kind of kicked my family out for not tithing properly. So I don't have a very high value in the Catholic religion.
So what's your perspective of just Christianity in general? So maybe
like in theory, it's good. It has a lot of good aspects. Christianity as a whole, like the idea behind it is good, but just like any other religion, it has its negative sides.
What do you think are those good things?
Like I said earlier, it kind of brings people together to an extent, but at the same time, that bringing together also pits one another against each other.
So do you think that Christianity pits each other, or the
religion in general? Like every religion, because everyone wants to have their true religion. And right now, we don't know what the true religion is. Because if I was born in Beijing, I would probably be like Hindu or something, and I would think that's the true religion.
Right, so we can all have different perspectives of what's true. So, how about your perspective of who Jesus was and what he did?
Jesus, I believe he was real. I believe he did perform miracles. Whether or not he brought everybody out of hell or not, I'm not entirely sure. Because we don't know what's after death. Because no one has really died and told the truth. And because we don't know, we have no true evidence of it. Like me, I don't necessarily think of it on like you need evidence, but at the same time, we don't know what's out there.
Depending on your source of truth, what would you say your main source of truth?
Me dying and finding out myself.
Okay, so self.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because like I said, because every religion has its own version of the underworld, hell, whatever. So it's not they all could be correct, or none of them could be correct. We don't know.
Yeah, based on what our source of truth is.
Yeah.
But according to the Bible, the Bible does say we know what happens. So if my source of truth is the Bible,
you also have to think the Bible is also at least a 2,000 to 3,000 year old book that has been rewritten billions of times by different authors. So it's not like it's a reliable resource.
So do you believe Plato existed?
Yes, Plato. Yes.
How do you know?
Don't know for sure. We have evidence of him. We have many scientific documents and other philosophers at the time studying under Plato and teaching Plato.
Right. So I agree. So based off of what you said.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like the Bible is. I'm not saying it's all truth. I'm not saying it's all false. There is enough evidence in the Bible to prove that at least some of the stories are correct, because of other cultures having similar stories and evidence from artifacts and whatnot that prove that some things are correct. But just like any book written by man, there's no guarantee that it's 100% fact.
Yeah, unless the author is ultimately God writing it.
Like I said, like the original book could be very well written by a god. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the God that everyone thinks of, but maybe a God that just happens to be there. And like I said, it's 2,000, 3,000-year-old books that has many authors that's been revised over and over again and mistranslated into different languages. So you have human error over the 2,000 years since it was written.
Well, I agree that we as men are in error. But how many manuscripts do you think there were for Caesar being alive? Like, how many manuscripts?
There's a lot of scripts and texts about him, especially because Caesar invaded other cultures, and you have other cultures viewing him. You have the Romans seeing him. So.
Yeah, I agree that Caesar existed.
Like, we have no biological. I'm not sure if we have any biological evidence, but we do have historical evidence written down. And the one reason I'm thinking the Bible, it's essentially one book. And most scientists and historians want more than one resource. We know so many like philosophers, kings, pharaohs, and whatnot existed and were alive because of evidence that not only their culture left behind, but evidence from other cultures that wrote about them. And God himself is also a spiritual being. He could very well be as real as Zeus, as Thor, as any other god in any sort of religion. They could all exist in one place and just kind of work together or whatever. Or we only have one, or we have none. None of us can be 100% sure. Certain.
Yeah, I think once again, if my source of truth is self-discovery, but if I believe that the Bible is God written, that He inspired the writings, then that means that even though I agree it was written over the span of 2,000 years, that God was, it says that all Scripture is God breathed, so that He led the guidance of what was written. So it wasn't man knowing what he was writing according to what God was leading him to write.
Well, yes, your key word in that whole sentence is belief.
Yeah.
Belief is one of the strongest things we have because it helps guide us. It helps show us a way in a sense. But it could strictly be in our heads. We could there are many people that believe that anyone who's religious should be in a mental asylum for having an imaginary friend through adulthood. But there's also enough evidence to also show that there could very well be something out there. It is almost impossible to prove something doesn't exist than it is to prove something exists. That's what people need to start asking the right questions on. How do we prove something exists? Not how do we prove it doesn't exist. You can't prove a negative.
But so that's ultimately the question is, who do you think Jesus really was? Like, what do you think why he came to earth?
Well, like I said, I believe he was a real person. There's enough scripture about him to show that he was a real person because he's referenced in the Bible, in the Torah, and in the New Testament, and he's also in some versions he's also in the Quran as a prophet as well. A couple places if I remember correct. So I do believe he was a real person. Whether he was a demigod or not, no one knows.
Unless, like you said, unless there's historical evidence that points to Caesar existing, there's actually more manuscripts pointing to that Jesus really lived, died, and rose again, more than Caesar even was alive. Like historically.
I don't know how much I can agree on that. Because the hardest part about Scripture is its validity. Especially with the order it is, the harder it is to validate. Especially because we have so many stories that are told orally that we're not entirely sure what's truth, what's false. Because every culture has its own spiritualities passed down from generation to generation that are far older than the Bible, that are far older than some known religions. So we don't know what's truth, what's false, what's spiritual, what's factual.
Unless we know that the Bible can be valid.
It can in some places, and others we're not. It's a struggle to find, especially because of how old it is.
Yeah, and You know Josh McDowell?
No, I don't.
It's okay. Yeah, he was an atheist, and so he wanted to disprove Christianity, and he's like, I'm not sure. I just want to debunk.
Honestly, there's no way to truly disprove Christianity. There's no way to disprove a religion. That is something I believe in, is that you can't disprove something. You can't really disprove it, because no one's gonna, like I said, no one's gonna know until they die. No one's gonna know until they die, their spirit goes to wherever, and they meet whatever's in the afterlife. Like, we have, and there's...
But your assumption of afterlife and spirit, that came from some spiritual truth where you come to think that, you know?
Well, because every culture has an idea of spirituality, of the afterlife, of life after death. There are very few religions and cultures that don't believe in something after death. A lot of cultures, dating far back before even language was written down, were showing burying of the dead, gifts on their grave sites to prepare them for what's to come next. Because we don't know what comes next. We don't know if once we're dead, our existence is gone, or if we get rebirthed in a new being, whether it be like a plant or something, or another person. We also don't know if we do ascend to heaven or descend to hell, or if we are worthy enough, we go to Elysium in the Greek underworld, or if we end up in the fields of punishment because we were evil.
Which I agree with that. If my source of truth isn't scripture, but if the Bible is valid, then actually I do know those truths. Not because I'm really smart, but because...
And the thing is, like, in religion, everyone's truth is their own truth. I can't argue against it because I don't know for sure. I can't say that you're 100% wrong, and I can't say that I'm 100% right. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of religious arguments come to, is they want a definitive answer, and they believe that their religion is the definitive answer. Which you're not. You're essentially, this is why the argument has gone on for centuries. Is because everyone's religion is their true religion, is their true belief system, is their path to heaven, their path to eternal happiness. So, truth is relative to the person.
Now, put yourself on that statement. That sounds like an absolute truth statement, that truth is relative. If truth was relative, then that statement has to be relative.
It is. That's the I don't know if it's paradox or oxymoron or what, but truth is relative as far as we know.
That would mean that's absolute truth, which would negate that.
And one of the things is, we don't have absolute truth. We do. Okay, that's a lie. We do and we don't.
Yeah.
And it's an absolute truth that we have consciousness in this world, in this dimension, because it's happening. But it
the truth that we all die.
Yes, everyone dies. But other than that, we're not sure what's in between, what's after, what's before. Because before we're born, we have no memories of that. After we're dead, we're not sure what's going to happen.
Unless God did come and reveal that to us. And I believe he did through the person of Jesus, of why he came. He preached that he was God, and then he died on the cross for our sin and rose from the grave. And I'm not just saying that, I don't think that's just my opinion, but I really believe that he proved it, like you said, through miracles and rising. You said we don't know anybody that rose from the dead to tell us, but we actually do know Jesus historically actually did rise from the dead historically, and there's actually documents, extra biblical.
There's also tons of evidence of people being buried alive, and having a bell attached to their gravestone just in case. And if they ring that bell, they can. And it's essentially modern rising from the dead, or a little bit pre-modern rising from the dead, because they weren't truly dead. So, because it is so many years old, a lot of people hold ancient history to a higher level than it possibly should be, or maybe to a lower level than it really is.
So, why do you think Jesus died on the cross, or do you believe he did die on the cross?
Like, I believe that the Romans punished him. I don't know if he did die on the cross, or if he just passed out from lack of blood flow and everything he just needed to regain. Because the way it's told is the wounds that he got probably shouldn't have killed him. We don't know.
Well, we do know if we look at the Bible as a historical account, that it says that when the centurion pierced his side, blood and water separated, and medically that shows that he was dead. And centurions were experts in death. So when they took him off the cross, they're like, yep, he's dead. And they took him to the tomb, and then 3 days later, we know that people have been resuscitated, but 3 days rotting in the tomb, and the tomb was rolled away, and he actually showed himself to 500 people and his disciples that he was risen from the dead.
True. And honestly, we could be arguing this point all day. Arguing back and forth, discussing it, which I enjoy doing, but I'm hungry, and I have stuff I need to do. It was a great conversation, and it's definitely one, like I said earlier, it's one that has lasted for centuries and will probably last for centuries more.
Would you like to meet up and talk more about this sometime?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But thank you for the discussion, for sure.
And if you're interested, this is just